Hello, welcome to KitPlus TV. Now, today we're speaking with a long-term exhibitor of the KitPlus show, and with our next event coming up fast on the 14th of September at Twickenham, we thought it would be a good chance to get a preview of what we can expect to see.
Absolutely. So pleased to welcome Oliver Newland from Panasonic. Hi, Ollie. Good to see you.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So this is probably going to be the first London show you've done for some time now, eh?
Yeah, we've started going and seeing customers face to face now, which is great.
Yeah.
But in terms of physical shows, yeah, it's the first time we've been out in London. So yeah, looking forward to it.
So let's delve in and start with PTZs. Now, we've been reporting them on the news for the last year. They obviously solve many issues surrounding remote production. What can we expect to see on the Panasonic stand at the KitPlus show?
Yeah, so we're going to show a number of our PTZ cameras. So we're going to have the UE150, which is our flagship 4K PTZ, and the UE100, which also supports 4K, as well as high bandwidth NDI and SRT as well. And we're going to have both cameras on a Panapod from Polcam, and this is an elevated column that's sort of designed specifically for our PTZ cameras. And what it does is gives you sort of controllable upward and downward movement in addition to PTZ camera control from our controllers. So it's a perfect little flyaway kit for our PTZs. One of the sort of key features, I suppose, of a PTZ is that they're controllable over IP. And last year, for example, we worked with an Esports production company called Face It, and they were putting on one of their tournaments, which is called Flashpoint, and that was also actually taking place at Twickenham Stadium, ironically enough. And they used a system made up of 150s and a tuning rail system, which also give you elevated height. And they used it, I mean, for three reasons. The first was basically to reduce the amount of people that were physically in there. The second was that it gave them an opportunity to implement programmable presets and recalled movement into the script that they could then sort of rehearse. And then they could also control that system over a network. So the team could operate in isolation from their hotel rooms in the absolute worst case scenario. And we're going to be showing sort of that setup in a basic configuration at KitPlus. So yeah, be sure to check that out.
So I guess, yeah, what you say is with it being IP PTZs, have you got a very smart panel or control surface or whatever that can smartly switch all of these PTZs and control them up and down, all from the same control surface or environment. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually recently built our own sort of portable production unit that enables you to demonstrate this kit with ease. So and that will be as part of the demo that we'll have at the KitPlus show. So that consists of a USH500, which is a compact 4K switcher, and it's an upgrade to the HS410, which was sort of like the HD version, and that was proven to be a bit of a mainstay in the rental and staging market in particular, and mainly being used within these sort of flyaway PPUs. And basically that can support, I think it's 16 inputs, 15 outputs, and 5 keyers. And it can also control our PTZs directly from the switchers as well. And then the entire system of that works seamlessly together with our PTZ camera controllers. So in this case, it's the RP150, cool. And then also our RCPs for our system cameras. But you can also use those with our PTZs for sort of live shading and stuff like that. So we've got them all put into one PPU, and we're going to be holding demos of that setup during the day.
So in terms of studio cameras now, Panasonic expanded the AK series last year with the new HC3900. Tell us where this fits in the production chain, because I think we're going to be seeing this at the show as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's sort of our cost-effective option, if you want. So it's a 1080p system camera that supports HDR. But the good thing about it is it's equipped with a 4K sensor. So this enables users, if they wanted to optionally upgrade that to 4K via an input into the CCU. So yeah, it's a suitable option really for sort of the higher education market, particularly where universities are basically wanting to have a professional system channel. In other words, and also sort of the corporate sector in particular, we're seeing quite a lot of interest. So yeah, we're going to have that on the stand. So yeah, if anyone wanted to come and have a look at that, then we'll be ready to do that.
Now, another trend at the moment is of course flexibility. Being able to change what you're doing for different purposes, etc. Now, I think I saw the Kairos platform that you launched. Whether it was launched, but the first time I saw it was at IBC 19, I think. It seems to be just that solution. Yeah. So for those that might not have seen it, because we haven't had many events since 2019, and not everyone can make every KitPlus show. Give us an overview of the Kairos and what they can see from that at the show.
Yeah, so it's an IP based video processing platform, and it can provide sort of a multitude of different functions within a live production. In the first instance, it could be a video switcher, but it also has the capability to be a pixel processor and a screen manager as well. And it's based on open software architecture and relies upon CPU and GPU processing power. And it also offers a video latency of a single frame, which is still a market first for a software based video platform. And Kairos can be used to work with a simultaneous number of inputs. So it's based on ST2110, but it can also handle baseband SDI and NDI and SRT as well. And it can then output these feeds to sort of a wide array of resolutions, whether that's HD or UHD. But also, if you're working with LED backdrop displays, you can go with like a 32:9 aspect ratio as well to support that. And then the other, perhaps probably its other key feature is that it can manage virtually an unlimited amount of MEs through its layers concept. We've actually, without having to explain it in too much detail, we've put together a really good series called Inside Kairos that covers layers and how they work, in addition to a number of key features. So yeah, be sure to check that out.
That mention of IBC 19 seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? But I do recall then, was it Kairos behind the massive Esports streaming that you were doing at the show then?
Yeah, so that was actually at ISE. So it was at ISE
That's right.
2020. Yeah. So we basically had it sitting at the heart of the production. So it was taking all the different camera sources that we had there. So we had system cameras and PTZs, and it was then taking those feeds and outputting them onto the projectors that we had. So yeah, it was a really good setup.
You say esports, that's we're happy that there's clearly a very good target market, growing market. Have you targeted it at anyone in particular? Is it scalable from your small guys right through to your big broadcast, or is it targeted at a particular level of production?
Yeah, I think the interest that we've seen particularly in Kairos is it's anyone that's sort of working within that sort of ST2110 landscape at the moment. Yeah. It's particularly interesting, and I think at the moment that sort of area for some of sort of the mid-level sort of customers particularly is probably the infrastructure for that is probably still quite expensive as it's in its relative infancy. But as those sort of costs start to come down, I think we will see it sort of really go into that area. But I think one of the unique features with Kairos, I suppose, is that it's there to help bridge that transition from sort of your baseband SDI to ST2110 and all those sort of IP based workflows. So yeah, it's definitely, I think by having the GUI and with the GUI being so easy to work with in layman's terms, I suppose it's really sort of appealing to those sort of markets, because you don't necessarily need to have someone that's just you can train someone up to become a vision mixer using Kairos relatively easy, or have someone that's hugely experienced and they would be able to pick up the differences between working with a traditional ME switch, for example. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ollie. That sounds good. And if that's left you wanting more, then head over to kitplusshow.co.uk and register for the KitPlus show, which is on the 14th of September at Twickenham Stadium. It's free to attend, free car parking, and we've got many leading manufacturers at the event, plus, of course, a chance to get hands-on with all the Panasonic kit that Ollie's been talking about. Thanks to Mediaproxy for their support of KitPlus TV, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.